Have you just opened your Google Ads account and seen this message, not eligible, low search volume? Don't worry about it if you have seen that message, because this is usually easily fixed. In this video, I'm going to explain what the low search volume actually means, why it happens, and how to fix it so you can start getting calls and leads. My name's Adrian Harrison from Grow Savvy Marketing, and I help service business owners use Google Ads to get more paying customers for their business. Let's start with why the status of your Google Ads is showing low search volume. There's two common reasons. Reason number one is that you're just in an extremely niche service. So if you've got a business that is something like vintage typewriter repair, there's likely not very many people actually searching for that. So you're going to be showing low search volume. But the most common reason really is that the targeting is just too restrictive. So the way you've set up your Google Ads account needs to be fixed. In this video, we'll focus on the 5 most common reasons why this happens, and I'll show you how to fix those. So number 1, we'll just go over them quickly, is that your keywords are too specific. Number 2, the location targeting is too tight. Number 3, you've got too many audience filters. Number 4 is too few keyword variations. Number 5 is you're using just exact match and there may not be enough volume in that. And I'll share with you a bonus tip towards the end of the video. Reason number 1 why your ads are showing low search volume is that you're using exact match only. There are 3 different match types on Google Ads: broad match, phrase match, and exact match. Exact match will trigger your ads when the user types in a search that is exactly like your keyword or a very close variant, whereas broad match will trigger your ads for a lot more loosely related search terms. How does this relate to your keywords showing a low search volume? Well, it's really got to do with the amount of searches you get for each of those match types. As an example, plumber Sydney. When I searched it today, I got 8,100 searches that came up. And this is good for discovery and finding new keywords, but it can also trigger irrelevant clicks if you're not carefully monitoring it or you're adding negative keywords, which I'll discuss later. Phrase match, on the other hand, well, that might only get 2,000 searches. So they're going to be a lot more relevant and not have as much variety. And exact match, you might only get 800 searches. So that is for a very broad term like plumber Sydney. But if you had a longer keyword, then you might find there's pretty much no search volume for exact match, which is why you're going to get that eligible, not eligible, low search volume warning in your ads. Now you might be thinking that maybe I should just switch my keywords over all to broad match and then I'll get enough volume. Well, you will, and Google loves pushing this as a solution for everything. They want you to go to broad match because they know you're going to spend more money. But it can lead to irrelevant clicks, which are not good for your business and don't lead to conversions. So later in this video, I'm going to show you how you can stop irrelevant searches when using broad match. Reason number 2 is that your location targeting is too tight. So if you've set it for just one suburb or a couple of suburbs or a very small town, you might find that that's just not enough search volume in there and you may need to include a broader area. So if you can, I would recommend including a broader area like this, if that's the area that you service, and that will increase the search volume. You don't necessarily need to do your whole city if you have a big city. But if you're only targeting a very small amount, then consider broadening that. Reason number 3, your audience filters are set too tight. In your account, if you come over to audiences and then we go edit audience segments, edit it as a campaign, first thing we're going to do is, instead of using the targeting mode, we're going to use observation mode. Targeting is going to restrict the reach that your campaign gets. So we really want to be using observation mode especially when we're first starting out. What I've seen is that people might choose a relevant service like plumbing services and they'll put it in targeting mode thinking they just want to target plumbing services. And there's some logic behind that thinking, but it is going to restrict your searches a huge amount and may lead to the low search volume. So instead of using the targeting mode, put it in observation mode. Reason number 4 is that you haven't found the right keywords. Now, you might have put some keywords in that sound right, and you might think that's what your customers are searching, but it may not be what they are actually searching. So for example, sanitary pipe blocked Sydney versus blocked toilet Sydney. You want to be using the language your customers are using and not industry jargon or terms that your customers generally don't use. Go back through your keywords and just make sure that these are the types of things that customers are searching. Put yourself in your customer's shoes. Reason number 5, your keywords are just too specific. For example, if you've got a very long keyword, maybe you're thinking after hours, emergency hot water heater repair, Bondi Beach. That's just going to be way too long to get any search volume. I know I've exaggerated that heaps in this example, but I think you get my point. Instead, you could just use something like hot water repair Sydney. And the other thing that you might want to experiment on if you're using a location in your keywords is put in the broader or the bigger area. So instead of a small suburb, like I've got down here, Bondi Beach, so hot water repair Bondi Beach, we might put hot water repair Sydney instead. And that's going to give you a much more volume, give your ads more volume, and they're going to trigger and not show that low volume warning or status. I've got one more bonus tip, number 6 for you, and that's negative keywords that are blocking your searches. Negative keywords are great and you need them in your account, especially if you're using broad match, which I recommended earlier in the video. But it's easy to accidentally block high intent searches. As an example, you may be wanting to block the keyword plumber free because you don't want people looking for free plumbing services. So you've added that keyword as a broad match to your negative keywords. The biggest problem with negative keywords is you've got to be really careful when using broad match negative keywords, because if you put plumber free in, it's going to block plumber free quotes when in fact you might want someone searching for a plumber with free quotes. So what I recommend that you do, and this is the safest way to use negative keywords, is to put an exact match in. So if we use the brackets like this here, plumber free, that's only going to block that exact search term plumber free, and it won't block something like plumber free quotes. So you only really want to use the broad match if you're going to be really sure that your ad isn't going to be accidentally blocked from showing. So for example, careers or jobs, they're usually pretty safe to put in as a broad match when you're a service business, because you don't want people searching for plumbing jobs, plumbing careers, for example. Let's just do a quick recap as to why you're getting the low search volume status in your Google Ads. Firstly, don't just assume that there's zero demand unless you have an extremely niche industry or you're in a very small town. It's more likely to be a targeting mistake or the way your account is set up. So number 1 reason is the keywords are just too specific. Use some more variety in your keywords, make them a little bit broader. Number 2 is that the location targeting is too tight. So if you're just targeting a suburb or a very small town, you might want to broaden it to a wider area if you can. Number 3, the audience filters. Instead of using the targeting mode, you want to use the observation mode. Number 4 is that maybe you just haven't found the right keywords. And so instead of using customer jargon, I want you guys to be using words that customers would actually type into Google, how they speak to you when they talk about the problems they're trying to solve. Number 5 is that you're using exact match. So you could try phrase match or broad match. And if you use broad match, make sure you use negative keywords to block out some of the irrelevant searches. And the bonus tip number 6 was just that you're using some negative keywords, but they're actually blocking your searches or your ads from showing. So you want to be very careful that in your negative keywords, when you're using broad match especially, that they're not blocking your ads from showing. So you may want to switch some of those to exact match. And I think if you do all of these things, you're going to find that your ads are going to start showing and you won't get that low search volume. I highly recommend that you download my 150-page Google Ads guide for service business owners, where I run through all the right settings to set up your account to generate leads and to get that search volume through. And if you want an expert to help you with this, you can book a call with me where I can help you fix broken campaigns, get them converting and profitable, and also set up new campaigns to generate you paying customers. I've got the links in the description below. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe to the channel for more tips about how to use Google Ads to get paying customers for your service business. Cheers.